In the meantime, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has placed former Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki on its watch list as it investigates transactions including contracts awarded during his 8-year tenure. Obaseki, who left office in November 12, had previously claimed that the EFCC intended to arrest him after his tenure. Now, this development follows the establishment of a 14-member state asset verification committee by his successor, Governor Monday Okpebholo, to scrutinize his government. Earlier, on November 2nd, the EFCC arrested 5 officials from Obaseki's government, including the Accountant General, Julius Anelu, over alleged massive withdrawals from the state treasury within a short time frame. Despite these developments, Obaseki has maintained his willingness to cooperate with the EFCC, saying he's not afraid of a probe and was ready to account for his stewardship. And to talk about this, we're joined by the former Commissioner for Digital Economy, Science and Technology in Edo State, and that's Ogbeide Ifaluyi-Isibor. Good afternoon. Glad to have you join me on the news.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right. So let me kick off by asking what your thoughts are on the EFCC decision to place former governor, of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, on watch list.
Well, it's a developing story, and we haven't heard officially from the spokesman to the governor. But this is not something that is uncommon with the political terrain that we find ourselves, where the EFCC, quote unquote, seems to become a tool. But however, Governor Godwin Obaseki has always maintained that he ran a very transparent government, and he's open to any form of interrogation or probe by the new administration or by the EFCC. He is not in hiding. He is available for questioning. And so if the EFCC is placing him on a watch list, to me, that is more of the political language and actually wanting to find out more about his accountability or transparency while in office. We ran a very accountable and transparent government. We were acknowledged, by various stakeholders as one of the most transparent governments in the history of our country. And all our books are open for public scrutiny. We became completely digital. We became a paperless government. That means all procurement processes for all contracts, all approvals are given, are all done on digital platforms, and they exist. So there's nothing that is being hidden from anybody, even from the public. So today, even if you want to see all memos, that Governor Obaseki signed while he was in government, they're all available on our ERP platform. That's the purpose of going digital. It makes your government transparent, it makes it accountable, makes it efficient, and makes it effective. We were able to archive over 70 million records, in governments. That's from 1999 until date. And so all the information available for a probe or for investigation are available for the people to see. So I don't think former Governor Obaseki is bothered about the information about being on the watch list. He's said it time and time again that he's open to public scrutiny, and that is what it should be.
Now, as a former commissioner yourself, how do you see what do you make of this in terms of EFCC's investigation into contracts and of course awards, during Obaseki's administration? What does it really mean for you being a former commissioner?
I honestly think that when we serve public office, we serve with the notion that the public is interested in what we do. We serve with the thought that after we finish our service, our records or our dealings are exposed to public scrutiny. I have no trouble with that at all. I think that is what should be after anybody leaves office. It helps accountability, it helps transparency. So as one who served in the last administration, I think it's not what anybody should worry about, especially when you know that your hands are clean, when you know that you led a very transparent and accountable government, when you know that even public opinion suggests that the Godwin Obaseki government was a very prudent one, was one that abhorred waste, and we saw it in every facet of government. This was the first and only government in the history of Nigeria where members of the state ESCO did not have official cars. You know, most of my colleagues in other states had convoys while they were moving around, but in Edo, no commissioner serving under Godwin Obaseki had an official car. Instead, we had a fleet management agency such that whenever we had official assignments alone, we had vehicles allocated for that assignment. And when it is done, the car goes back to the pool. You know, so this was done to reduce government waste. And instead of spending scarce resources, servicing a few political office holders, we're deploying this money for the service of the people to provide public utility. And that's what our government was known for. You know, so it is not a problem to me or to anyone that served in Godwin's government. You know, if the EFCC or the present government is trying to find out what you did, the books are open. We had an asset management register that housed all the assets the Edo States had at the time we served. You know, all the contracts that were awarded, the procurement process was all electronic. It is all on digital platforms, so it's visible or accessible to anybody, not just the EFCC or the present government. Anybody who wants to find out what happened under Godwin Obaseki's government can easily have access to those documents on the internet.
Now, there are concerns that this probe by the EFCC could be stemming from personal vendetta, or do you think it's justifiable looking at you know, these coming from Monday Okpebholo, who is now the governor of the state? What do you make of those concerns?
Well, every concern stems from an assumption or some facts. And I wouldn't want to, you know, put aside how anybody feels about it. But be that as it may, it is obvious today that the EFCC, start to say, has become like a political tool. I remember in 2016, when Governor Adams Oshiomhole left office, there were several papers that were written, several queries, several letters to the EFCC, publishing documents, publishing information on financial misappropriation as perpetrated by that government. But because he appeared to be serving or to have served, you know, a party that was at the center, nothing was done. We reached out to the EFCC on several occasions to come and investigate Adams Oshiomhole, but nothing ever happened. You know, so, and if you check it too, most of the governors who get to be troubled with the EFCC are governors who don't belong to the same political party or have an axe to grind with those in government. So it doesn't appear to be a very fair, you know, commission that really wants to check financial misappropriation. But that is not the meat of this argument. For me, I think that the Obaseki administration is open for criticism or open to investigation by the EFCC or the IPC or any other agency that wants to come check our books, because we are very sure and we're matter of fact that we ran a very transparent government.
All right, thank you so much for your perspective on the news. Ogbeide Ifaluyi-Isibor, who is the former Commissioner for Digital Economy, Science and Technology in Edo State. Many thanks indeed.
Thank you for having me.